If you're lucky enough to have one of these or thinking about getting one, here's another tip on all these amazing functions from this studio in your pocket, the PASportVO. And by the way, if you do want to buy one, go to the Centrance website and you'll find the PASportVO there and you can order yours.
This should be the default mode. I was thinking, like, what is the most common use case for a lot of the folks using it, being voice actors, being a lot of those folks who I've bought one? What would those settings be ideally? And this is what I came up with. And this is what I'm hoping that the default positions will be
settings, all right,
on the unit, right? So, it's all the things that most voice actors would probably want. It's assuming you're going to use one computer and connect it with two cables, right?
Yeah.
So the left one's recording, right one is communication. And it's kind of confusing. It says connect to recording PC Mac, but that's because there is only one computer. It's just a single computer. Yeah. But that's the intention of this particular setup. Do you guys see anything you would improve or change, or is that pretty much clear?
No, the only thing I saw that we talked about before was the input power. Just explain that, which it's now explained.
Yes,
input power, you can set to record USB or comms USB.
Yeah, that power switch could be in either position, honestly, because if you're going to plug it into, let's say, a powered hub or two ports on a computer, both of them are supplying power. This will let you choose which of those you're using for power.
Well, I caught myself out there without the labels on the bottom of ours. I forgot that was something you had to switch. So,
that's right. Yeah,
that's right. Our current prototypes are
it's not very helpful.
rather minimal on the labels right now.
And I'm sitting there going, why is it working on one side and not on the other, and getting really frustrated. And then I emailed you guys and you reminded me and I went, that'd be
I know. I made an RTFM joke and then I was like, oh, there is no effing manual.
There's no manual
Exactly.
order. Okay, so comp off, it looks like the knob is in the on position there.
Yeah,
no
in the picture it's in the wrong position.
Yeah. But comp off, I'd kind of agree. Although it is quite a good compressor, actually.
It sounds nice, doesn't it? I really like it.
It's so subtle, but it really does kind of catch it at the top and really keep you from going over the rails. Do you know the other one? And this is completely off subject. Well, it's not off subject because we're looking at it. But the high pass filter, I had my doubts about. But I've got to be honest, hearing that in place too, I don't mind it either. It's all very subtle. It's like
absolutely.
Yeah, we talked quite a bit about it. I was kind of thinking a little more aggressive on the
We thought it was too soft. We all had that same thought. We're going, that's not going to do anything. But I got to be honest, turn it on and hear it. You got to go, Michael, you're the man. Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of things you can do with an EQ with terms of where the frequency starts to slope off and how quickly it slopes off.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so my question then for Robert and Robbo is if I was using one of these for a session, would you be offended if I had the compressor on?
No. And as I said in my video, when I did my unboxing, I think that's why, is because it's been set up with the understanding that sometimes you do need a compressor, but, there's going to be no heavy-handed result in using this one.
That's right. Yeah. So the compressor will not actually do a thing if your gain is on the lower side. If you're not hitting the input too hard, the compressor never really kicks in. Yeah. And as far as I can tell, based on the behavior, because Robert and I played with it quite a bit, we were purposely trying to clip the recordings. We were doing a lot with it. And it seems to be, is it a knee compressor?
It's a soft knee. Yeah. It curves more and more as you get into it. So at the very top, it's almost probably, I dare say at the very, very top of it, it might be approaching limiting. I'm not sure what his, because I think it's a 2-to-1 compressor, but with a knee, there's no exact boom, it's this ratio. It's sort of a sliding, you need calculus to know the exact, ratio at that point in the curve. It is very subtle, but useful. And I think if you just keep your levels conservative, it's good. The other nice thing is that if you look right around the ring of the mic 1 knob, you actually have a compression indication. You can see when you're triggering it.
It's an Easter egg. Let's put it that way. It's great. Yeah, so when we were playing with it, you could see the compression light indicating compression was happening, and it was kind of glowing
brighter
in the space between the mic gain and the mix knob below. You could see it
A good tip would be, I reckon, set your levels up with your compressor off. So find the levels you want to use and then turn it on. Don't set your levels up with it turned on.
I'll tell you exactly why you want to do that. Because the meter is post-compressor.
Yes.
And that is a little bit hard to tell. And if you're like, I can't get enough gain, you keep on turning it up, then you might be like kind of pushing it. So it's not a bad idea to set your level pre-compressor. But overall, just be conservative with your levels. We've been through that whole thing with like 24-bit.
Yeah.
This thing's got fabulous audio specs anyway, so you don't have to be hanging out at -2 or even minus, like just hit this thing with one yellow light at the most every now and then.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's more than enough.
Yeah, totally. Unfortunately, this image, this is not the calibration of our meter, by the way. I'm sorry. This is out of date.
Oh.
So the current model actually is as shown here. I'll zoom in on it goes from 0 to -6. I would say when you set your gain, you should be landing between 12 and 6. That would be what I would recommend.
Yeah, like hitting -10. So is -10 a yellow or is it a green?
-12 is a yellow. And then you have -6 yellow, and then this is red. 0 is red.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
You should never see that red light.
Yeah, you don't want to see that.
If you're seeing red, you're dead.
So -12 is the first yellow, right? Yeah, correct. I would consistently hit the first yellow and rarely hit the second.
Yeah, it should just be flicking into there.
Yeah.
All right.
So that -6 is really a -12.
That's correct. Yeah. I'm sorry that this is not current. This.
Hit it with one yellow light, but really, and then the second yellow light is -6. So just very occasionally hit the second yellow light.
Right.
And never red. Yeah.
Never red. When you hit the red, you're dead.
Because I think the compression probably starts around -12 or -10 probably. We should know that.
Yeah. So the compressor does come in around -10 if I remember. So the compressor's there to catch you when you're a little bit too aggressive on the mic.
Yeah.
And it seems to hard limit eventually. I don't think anybody that's recording you will even know you're using it unless you actually really yell and get into it. It's not
a compressor for color. It's just a don't clip. And it really did stop it from clipping. I mean, I remember George was yelling into it, and then if you yelled into it without the compressor, it would clip, it would flatline and twisted wave, and then you yell into it with the compressor, and it was just rounded out, and it did kind of sound like it was getting fuzzy, a little furry, but it wasn't like that is unusable.
It's also because there's so much headroom in the AD converter. Is that where the headroom would be? The AD converter, or before the AD converter? But there's a lot of headroom.
I'm assuming that the 0 on that clip light is 0 on the AD converter as well.
Yeah. I just found that I was able to go beyond clipping and twisted wave, play it back, and I couldn't really hear the clipping. That's what a lot of you will be using, and that's hopefully what will come out of the box.